Forgive and forget. That's what we're all often raised to believe. But perhaps maybe that's not quite the way to go. Most of us really can't forget the things that happen that really hurt us. So to say to forgive and forget, maybe that's just not quite realistic. So perhaps there's another way. There's actually a lot of research on forgiveness, and in particular, ways that these research interventions actually benefit us. And one of the ways in which it does is that by forgiving, we obviously have greater levels of forgiveness for what's actually happened. But what also happens is that we increase our levels of hope and decrease our levels of depression and anxiety. Because often when a person feels unforgiving, they get other unpleasant feelings such as anxiety and depression. So being able to learn to forgive benefits us in many ways. So how do we forgive? So there's one lovely acronym to recall, and I'm just going to show you a book. If you can see it, I don't know whether it's going to come around the right way, but Forgiving and Reconciling. This research by a fellow called Everett Worthington, fabulous fellow, really decent guy, and my word did he have to put all his research to good effect when something rather terrible happened in his life. So the work that he came up with in terms of looking at in terms of forgiveness, came up with a really nice simple acronym for us to remember, and it's called REACH. So he talks about reach for forgiveness. So the R stands for recall the hurt. So bring to mind the hurtful event. So in order to recall, we're definitely not going to be forgetting, but it's about recalling it in a way that brings the event to mind. The E is empathize. This is where it can be quite challenging, is to actually put ourselves in the shoes of the other person, of the person who hurt us or who did wrong to us, and actually put ourselves in their shoes and think, what led them to do that? It might be what led them to do that in that moment, but also potentially what were the other factors that were building up perhaps over time that resulted in them doing that action. The A is altruistic. It's an altruistic gift of forgiveness that we give to another person. And we do that, and the research is showing that if we do that, it's like we're accepting our humanity, that there have been times where we have done wrong and we've been forgiven. And it's about paying that forward, essentially. The C is to commit, is actually to write down the commitment to say, today I choose to forgive so-and-so for the hurt that they caused me. And sometimes when we commit that commitment to forgive in writing, it's more likely that we'll hold on to the forgiveness. And that's what the H is the hold on to forgiveness, is sometimes we might need to remind ourselves and repeat that commitment. Sometimes we can hold on to that commitment by sharing our commitment with someone else and helping them hold us accountable for that to maintain that forgiveness. So to forgive and forget, whilst it sounds great, may not always be the way to go. So definitely forgive, but perhaps we reach for forgiveness rather than forget what's happened to us, because perhaps it's just not possible or not feasible that we will actually forget. We have the memory, it's happened, but it's what we do with it, how we perceive it, and that's where we begin to free ourselves from the shackles that tie us in unpleasant ways to what's happened. But reaching for forgiveness is a way that we can transform the hurt, and that's a gift we can give to ourselves. Would love to hear how you maybe apply this in your life. Till next time, cheers.